my geeks, freaks, and lurkers. I'm Carmelo-san, and today we're going to be talking about what a demon dating sim and an Mpreg comic have in common. I can't believe this is my first video. Now, for those who are unaware, a while ago I made a post on Twitter explaining how I want to talk about how a scene in Chapter 2 of the Tumblr comic Thought Bubble reminded me of scenes in the visual novel Seduce Me to the Demon War, but felt like it would take a video essay for me to do it justice. Well, after some debating and a response from the creator herself, I decided to go through with it. But first, let's dive into the lore of both medias, starting with Seduce Me 2. Well, actually, before we learn about Seduce Me 2, we have to go back to the first game, because as you probably could have guessed from the title, Seduce Me 2 is actually a sequel to the original game, Seduce Me the Otome. Now, I'll try to keep this quick, since the first game is not our main focus. In Seduce Me, you play as the MC, or Mika, who after finding out her grandfather passed, inherits his mansion and everything inside of it. But when moving in the next day, discovers 5 men have broken into the place. After some uncomfortable interaction and yelling, one of the men explains that they're incubuses.
Ahem. Incubi is the correct plural form.
Right, sorry James. Explains that they're incubi, a type of demon that feeds on desire, and were seeking shelter after escaping from a fight. From this point on, Mika can choose between the 5 demon brothers to date and fall in love with. That's basically how the first game ends. The second game starts a little differently, by you choosing to start where you left off with the brother you chose, and each of them having a unique storyline depending on which one you chose, while still having similarities to other paths. Now, the 3 brothers of the 5 that we're going to be focusing on is the oldest James, the second oldest Eric, and the second youngest Matthew, but we're going to put a pin on that for a moment. For now, let's get into Thought Bubble. Now, there's a little bit of extra backstory for this. Paula Shattuck, otherwise known as P. Shattuck on platforms, is a small content creator known for her comic dubs as far back as 2015 and her original comics such as Deep in Homebrew and Creepypasta Chronicles, now remastered to Chronic. Back in March of 2022, Paula made a post on Twitter saying her boyfriend, now fiancé if I recall correctly, gave her permission to draw his persona pregnant. Yep, this is probably what you clicked on the video for. Don't even try to deny it. Now, Mpreg is a topic that Paula has drawn before and doesn't shy away from. She stated that, quote, I honestly don't care what people will think if I draw what I draw. I like drawing for me and for those who stay/join, end quote. From what I could find, she's written 2 other unfinished works involving Mpreg, an original work titled Out There, and a Fiona and Cake fan comic titled Chaotic Gift. Thought Bubble is one of her most recent works, and stars her fiancé, Kaiser Acheron, as the main character. Kaiser Acheron is another content creator most known for his voice acting, more specifically, the characters he plays on his YouTube channel. Now, we're not going to talk about the YouTube channel because Paula has stated in the past that his channel and the comic are not connected in any way besides Kaiser himself, but still go check them out. They're amazing people. Now, a tiny bit of explanation before we get into the lore. The version of Thought Bubble I'm going to be talking about is actually a remaster to the first one of the same title. So in case you look it up later and get confused, the one I'm talking about is the most recent and considered canon. Now with that all out of the way, on to the story. The comic starts off with Kaiser babysitting his nephew Jackie, while both his parents, Light and Dark, are on a date. While making lunch for the both of them, Kaiser gets sick. Worried about why he might be feeling like this, Jackie suggests they should go to a doctor, and Kaiser calls up Light and Dark to give him a ride. Flash forward to the hospital, and everything is coming back negative, so the doctor performs an ultrasound. This is where the penny drops, and the episode ends with Kaiser discovering that he is in fact pregnant. Episode 2 starts with this very memeable image, and Kaiser asking how this could possibly happen. Yeah, so far we haven't gotten an explanation for it, but I have a friend who headcanons that Kaiser and Paula are just a T for D couple. Light gives the possible canonical answer that it's probably Toon magic, given that Kaiser's persona is probably based on Toon races like in Who Framed Roger Rabbit in Cool World, but that's just my assumption. And Dark is completely unhelpful. Thank you, Dark. After Jackie asks if he's going to keep the baby, Kaiser says of course, and then worries about how he's going to tell Paula. The doctor comes back with the ultrasound pictures and asks if he has any questions, to which he responds, I'm not sure. Once home, Kaiser sets down the pictures, which I have a side tangent about, but I'll save till the end to keep on track. Kaiser then receives a call from Paula, who asks if he's okay, explaining that Light told her he went to the hospital. But Kaiser explains that he's fine and the doctor said he just had a stomach bug. Paula tells him to get some rest and that she'll be home in a few hours, and the call ends. Obviously still stressed from the day's events, Kai decides that rest does sound like a good idea, flops onto his bed, and falls asleep. But it isn't peaceful. As he opens his eyes, he finds himself surrounded by dark, shadowy creatures. While taking in his surroundings, he notices he may have been a victim of voodoo pregnancy, since he already looks like he's in his 3rd trimester despite the doctor saying he was only 9 weeks along. His panic is only worsened when the creatures start chanting, Cub, give us the cub. The cub, give us the cub. Kaiser in tears screams at them not to hurt his baby. This is where we see an off-screen figure's tendril destroy one of the creatures. When the scene pans around, we see the figure is Paula, but something's different. She yells at the monsters to back off as she continues defending her fiancé. As Kaiser yells at Paula to be careful, a new character chimes in. A character we've never seen before. Oh, just relax, they say. This is all a dream. None of this is real. Well, for now. At least I think. Kaiser is about to ask who they are, but is interrupted by them. Yeah, it's a dream, so you shouldn't be seeing me yet. So just wake up now, okay? On the next page, Kaiser wakes up yelling, definitely startling Paula. She asks if he's okay, and he stutters out, yeah, just a bad dream. We flash forward to both of them in bed, and after checking how Kaiser is feeling, Paula suggests going out together, just the two of them. At this moment, Kaiser tries to tell her about the pregnancy, but she has already fallen asleep, and guesses it can wait until tomorrow. As the episode ends, we see familiar-looking eyes staring from out the window. I know I just dumped a lot of info on you, but don't worry, I'll jump back to the moments that are important. Speaking of which, let's jump back to the three brothers, James, Eric, and Matthew. Their routes in Seduce Me 2 all have moments that remind me of Thought Bubble. Let's start with Eric's route first, since his has less to do with the scene and more of a concept. Now right off the bat with Eric's route, the player can already make the assumption that Mika might be pregnant. One of the earliest options the player can decide is to choose a book that talks about demon pregnancies. This can lead the player to make assumptions about what the route is about. Now, while this isn't the case with Mika, it's still talked about in the middle of the game. There are moments in the game where a spirit who has possessed Mika tries to convince her that Eric only is with her to have his children. This of course stresses Mika out, but when she confronts Eric about this, he admits that, while it would be nice to have children with her, he only wants to if she would want to as well. Besides, they're not even married yet. They can think about children after the wedding. Now, the comparison that I want to make here is not just the topic of pregnancy, but also how it affects the protagonist and their partner. While Mika is not pregnant during this route, she is still worried about what her fiancé would think. Kaiser has the same fear, but in his case, he's actually pregnant. He doesn't have time to wait until after the wedding for a baby talk. And while we haven't seen Paula's reaction yet, Eric's reaction is very understanding. And knowing Paula's character, she probably would be very understanding as well. That being said, I wonder if we'll get a scene in the future like what the spirit tries to do. If someone will try to twist the pregnancy as a bad thing, or try to display Paula in a bad light. Now with that all said and done, let's move on to James and Matthew, whose scenes are so similar that I'm gonna bunch them into the same group. Now, in both James and Matthew's route, Mika experiences nightmares where she is trapped in a dungeon, similar to the nightmare that Kaiser experiences. Though, a key difference in Mika's nightmares is that instead of her fiancé coming to save her like in Kaiser's nightmare, her fiancé is her captor. There's also a moment in James' route where, in a similar scenario, Mika is attacked by angels and James comes to her rescue. But that all happens when Mika is awake. Mika also wakes up from these nightmares screaming and startling her fiancé, which I think is a pretty funny coincidence. That being said, let's move on to some theories, or, well, more predictions. After the nightmare in James' route, Mika phones a friend who does tarot readings since she's afraid her nightmare could be an omen. An omen is a prophetic event said to happen in the future. I very well believe Kaiser's nightmare could be an omen, given that the mysterious character says Kaiser's dream is just a dream for now, and he won't be seeing him just yet. That being said, I want to take a break from talking about Kaiser and talk about Paula for a moment, which is honestly kind of hard since we don't know much about her character. Sure, we've gotten a ton of concept art and an out-of-context comic, but it doesn't really explain much. From what I've gathered, Paula is secretly uber powerful and has some skeletons hiding in her closet. What this power is or what she's hiding from is uncertain. That being said, I have talked about in the past how I definitely think the nightmare Kaiser saw has something to do with Paula and her power. She may not be the main cause, but she definitely plays a part in it. I also believe Kaiser is powerful in his own way as a toon. While there's no definition online about what a toon is besides an animated character, what I've gathered is a toon is an animated character with physical traits that go against human laws of physics and logistics. There doesn't seem to be a limit on what a toon can or can't be, whether they be humanoid, anthropomorphic animals, or even anthropomorphic objects. While the powers a toon can have vary from media to media, most share the same traits of impossible body movement, like enhanced flexibility or stretchy limbs, invincibility, and even immortality. Kaiser may also have other powers that have yet to be revealed. To combine that with whatever eldritch power Paula has, if it is hereditary, I mean, this baby is gonna be insanely powerful, as well as vulnerable. I also joked around with the idea of Paula making a firstborn deal, and I'm still praying that she's smarter than that. And with that, I think I've said everything that I want to say. Wow, that was a lot, but thank you for sticking around to the end. This is my very first video, but I plan to have other content, mainly more video essays and some fun life stories, but I've also been debating posting song covers that I might save for a second channel, and when I get better equipment. Anyways, what are your guys' thoughts on this, or Thought Bubble in general, or Seduce Me in general? I'll link both games in the comic in the description. Feel free to voice all your thoughts in the comments, just be nice and respectful to everyone. Oh, and for those sticking around to hear my tirade about Kaiser tossing the pictures on the table, I fully ranted to my best friend that in the first version of Thought Bubble, I thought the way Paula was gonna find out is because Kaiser so thoughtlessly threw the pictures out in the open where anyone could see them! I mean, seriously, Kai! When Paula comes back, that's probably the first thing she's gonna want to look at! The big manila folder with your name on it that has your ultrasound pictures. Definitely not the way most want to find out. Anyways, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe with notifications so you never miss an upload. See you later! Hello all my geeks, freaks, and lurkers, I'm Carmelo-san, and today we're going to be talking about what a dating... oh my god, I switched that. Second time! First game is not our main focus. Oh my god, that was so good. That was so good. Why did I tripped at the fucking finish line? God damn it. And we're seeking Skelter? What? Oh my god. Oh my god. It's so easy. And I fucking wrote this. Just read what's on the script. Back in March of 2022. Oh my, read it. Just read it. Just read it. That's all you gotta do. You just gotta read it. Top bubble I'm gonna be talking about is the actually the comic starts off with Kaiser babysitting. Yeah, I tripped up. God damn it. Oh my god, this is still Epitude. Whoa. Oh my god. I just came to the realization that I so far have been pretty loud and these walls are cardboard thin. My sisters could probably hear me. Not just my sisters, my parents. I hope they like this. they probably think I'm insane though. After saying he was only 3 weeks along. That says 9. Fuck! On the next page, Kaiser wakes up yet yelling. Oh my god, I stuttered. Fuck. I blame you for this, Ace. I blame you for this. You remind me of the babe. What babe? Babe with the power. What power? Power of voodoo. Who do you do? Do what? Remind me of the babe. I hope at least some people get the voodoo pregnancy reference. It's a Chucky reference for those who don't get it. And if you did, I'm sorry. My back hurts so much. And I guess I'm just gonna use this time to mention how I don't have a chair for my desk, and so I'm sitting on the very edge of my bed, and I can't put my feet under the desk because there's boxes, because I can't store these boxes anywhere else. And my feet are just on the edge of this one box, and it's just, I'm so uncomfortable. But I'm getting through it. I'm surviving. And she's afraid her nightmare could be an omen. An omen is prophetic? I'm looking this up. Oh my god, we're finally done. Like, do not take this in the wrong way. This was fun. I like this. And I love how this is gonna turn out, but I'm so tired. I'm gonna get me some apples and lemon water.